So back then, I had a lot of suicidal ideation and how I also did attempt. So when I reflect it now as a 19-year-old lady, it actually brings back to how as a 14-year-old it was a cry for help. Yeah, more than what people say like attention. Like, some people say like, oh, if you want to die, you can just jump down from the 12th building and then you can die, right? So there are people who came up to me and say these type of things. Welcome to this episode of Clean Your Toilet podcast. My name is Maya. I do work study diploma physiotherapy assistant, and today we have
Brenda. Yeah. So hi.
Hello.
Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
So I'm Brenda. Maybe I'll just share something about what I do. I'm a co-founder with a company. It's actually a forest school. We call ourselves Earth and Stars.
Earth and Stars. What does Earth and Stars do?
So Earth and Stars, we run programs for kids mainly, but it's in the forest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Forest?
Yes. So
what do you do?
Well, we facilitate programs, like we said. It's a 3-hour program. So everyone will have asked me, Singapore got forest, meh?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say also.
Well, definitely there are. It's just where you can find it, how you can find it. Not purely forest. Some may be half forest because it's being urbanized, I would say. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Meaning, there are works that's being placed. It's not like walking on muds and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's what we do for kids, mainly youth as well. So you may ask maybe something, what's so different being a school and like a forest school concept, right?
Yeah. That's my question also.
So I'm reading you right now, right? So, okay, so like in a normal school, you go to a classroom, right? So class bell rings, you sit in throughout one-way conversation with teachers or teachers with the students, right? Then every time you want to talk, you need to raise your hands. Then it's like, Cher, can I speak, right?
Yes.
So over here, we don't call ourselves Cher. Yeah, because Cher is always one-way conversation. Teacher lah, right?
Yes.
Teach.
Yes.
You teach something, so it becomes a one-way. So we're all coaches. So why coach, right? Coach actually is a two-way conversation. I coach you, you coach me. Yeah. So we facilitate the whole so-called lesson or sessions, right?
So it's a 3-hour session.
It's about 3 hours thereabout, depending, plus minus. We don't have a recess time, because you don't have recess.
3 hours
right?
only.
No, but we don't have a break time. Like in school, you have breaks, right?
Okay, yeah.
We don't have because anytime is break. So you can just take out your things and, eat anytime. Yeah.
Wow, dream.
Dream school, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a dream school, yeah. So like us, like I mentioned, being a coach, right? It's a two-way conversation.
Yeah.
So how about you? Is there something that you would like to share more in terms of being a student as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm doing my work study diploma in rehabilitation care at ITE. So technically, I'm taking my diploma, but in ITE itself lah. So for this course, you need kind of experience from your ComCare. So ComCare is in NITEC in ITE to be able to go inside rehab. Yeah, but also you can have work experience. So what I do basically is physio and occupational therapy. So I'm an assistant for both people lah. So what we do, mostly for me, for what I do is we help more geriatrics, which is older people, yes, who has dementia for my center. So basically for work study, you need to be tagged to a company to be bonded. Yeah, for about, depends on the company. For my company, it's about 2 years. Yeah, but it's around 6 to 2 years, like 6 months to 2 years. Yeah.
So what makes you go into this journey, and why OT, why dementia? I mean, I'm just a bit curious.
Understand.
I mean, consider you are relatively young, right? I mean, you're still in your study journey, that you go and dementia, usually not many youngsters would resonate with it, I would say.
I find it, I think I have asked a lot of my friends, like, they also have asked me, like, why dementia or why geriatrics in specific? So I would tell them that, it's, for me, because I have a passion since I was young, to help other people. Yeah, so it has always been in me to be in more healthcare. Yeah, because my auntie is a nurse.
Oh.
So she kind of like, when I heard she was a nurse, I actually found out more. Like, there's YouTube, there's like, the ICU type of CNA type, right? So I actually got interested when I was younger. So when it first came out, I actually saw it. And I was like, maybe this is something I wanted to do, which is nursing. So that's when I, try out for nursing in IT before in secondary school lah. So I did try for nursing, then comcare. So if you may wonder why I didn't go nursing, right? Since it's a dream, dream course for me.
It's not the needles, right, that you're afraid of?
No.
Not
I
really?
love the needles.
Oh my God.
I would like, when, usually because you get injections and everything, I would like look at it because it just somehow seemed very interesting for me.
Okay.
How the human body works and how it helps us to survive. Yeah, actually it's more complicated than, how your body works. Yeah. So basically why I didn't do nursing is because when I went for an interview, I actually didn't got in. I remember that one specific day, I went for a comcare interview and also a nursing interview at ITE as a Sec 4 student. So when I was doing the interview, I was at HCSA Day Spring. I remember like being so nervous, like going to cry like that before the interview because it really meant a lot for me to be able to even go to an interview or be in the nursing industry. So I remember because they had a requirement for a CPR so-called test, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I, kind of like went to YouTube and went to research, how to do CPR. Yeah, that's how enthusiastic I was because I really wanted to join. Yeah. So I was, fast forward, it was an interview day. I was on crutches, by the way, because I broke my leg.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a really coincident moment. Yeah, so I remember they didn't let me do the CPR, of course, because of the leg, my broken leg, right? My broken toes. Yeah, then after that, they just, they asked, because we had to declare what are the things that, you have been through or what are the things that you're diagnosed with. So at that moment, I was diagnosed with PTSD when I was in the HCSA Day Spring. And also I was diagnosed with bulimia and also some suicide tendencies ideations. So at that moment, that actually made me more not confident because I felt that people would, before the interview, I really felt that people would really look down on my paper. Yeah, but the youth mentors that I was talking to, her name is Robel. She actually talked to me and actually, encouraged me in a way that, it doesn't matter that your history is what you want to do, what you put your mind to do. So that's when I, just went for the interview, sat at the table. And I remember specifically there was 2 interviewers who are the nursing lecturers at that moment. Then I just sat down there and they asked me questions. Why do you want to be nursing? Then they look at my paper. There's PTSD written there and medications that I need to take. Because, if you don't declare, it will be very hard, I would say, if you were to go in and people don't know that you are kind of still healing. So when if you don't declare, it will be harder on you, I would say. Yeah. So that's why I choose to be truthful to myself and to the so-called lecturers. Yeah. So that's when I put the PTSD and they saw. So the first thing they asked me was, what did your parents do? Like, it was a very shocking as a Sec 4 student, or even like that someone could like be so like, not sensitive with the question, I would say. And it kind of like shocked me so badly to the point where I just sat down there and I couldn't answer her. Because why does that got to do with what I really wanted to do? Because before that, she asked me, of course, I think she asked all the students, like, why do you want to join nursing? It's a very hard course and very hard thing to do. So I told her that because I really love what nursing does, which is helping others, which is not just helping others, but being there when they are lonely, especially towards the elderlies. Yeah, when all their family members couldn't come and visit because maybe busy, you are their like people they talk to. Some of them even consider you as like a daughter or a son if you're really, really close to them. Yeah. So as a Sec 4 student, I was very shocked. I really didn't like understand why or how could someone ask me these type of questions so bluntly. Yeah. So that actually impacted me in a way. I left the interview feeling so bad, like so horrible to the point where, just I didn't want to do what I did. So I went back to HCSA Day Spring, crying, telling the youth mentor Robel, like, why did they ask me? I think I'm not gonna be in, and anxiety comes, right? Overthinking. And then I just sat down and I remember at the counter and telling myself, am I really worth is it really worth to go nursing? Like, do they really want me there? So it actually took me a few years to kind of like not really accept, but learn how people see us as someone who went through abuse, who has history of self-harming, suicide attempts. So it's kind of very very tough I would say, to be in a position like that, especially if you don't want it to define who you are in this current state. Yeah. Because you can't control what people think or what people say about you or what your bosses say about you. You only can control how you feel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I felt. I had a lot of suicidal ideation and how I also did attempt. So when I reflect it now as a 19-year-old lady, it actually brings back to how as a 14-year-old, it was a cry for help. Yeah, more than what people say, like attention. Like, some people say like, oh, if you want to die, you can just jump down from the 12th building and then you can die, right? So there are people who came up to me and say these type of things. So when I, think about it, I'm like, And I also realized in my own journey is that it's a sign for it's a cry for help. In a way, because last time I couldn't express how I feel, so I turned into binging and everything, right? And suicide ideations because I was also depressed. So it became kind of, it's a way that, okay, I need help without actually saying it because you don't know how to really say it. And also with my experience, when I say it, it becomes a
taboo.
Yeah, it becomes not really a taboo, but more of a it becomes a taboo actually. More of the things that you cannot say because you have a good life, you have parents, you have this and that, you have a roof on, you have a shelter, you have place to sleep. Why you want to die? So that's what was scaring me the most, like the asking for help. So that's when I turned to all these unhealthy coping mechanisms lah. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. I think that's very useful. Sometimes it's when we want to ask for help, we don't know how to ask and we don't know what to ask. And also the part where how people will respond, right? Then it's like, I need help. And then they're like, What do you need help, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how people would say, like you have rightly mentioned, you got a house, you got this, what else do you want?
Yes.
Right. So sometimes it's just through actions as a way of expressing ourselves, right?
Yes.
Be it eating, be it anything, right?
Yes.
That's our mechanism lah.
Coping.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's very useful. I mean, that's very not interesting, but rather this is very insightful, right? That we all learn, and we have never learned to ask for help. Because asking for help is seen to be very vulnerable.
Yes.
Right. But at times, we have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because by being vulnerable, as like now what we are also doing, to really share, to let people know that it's okay to be not okay. And to be not okay is good to us.
Yes.
Yeah. Without asking, no one knows, because it's so silent inside. We just keep and keep and keep, right? Until the day we explode.
Yes.
Yeah.
At that moment, as a Sec 4 kid. Yeah. So actually, I lost hope at that point of time. So, but maybe God's will, I went into Comcare. So I got accepted. Yeah. So I got accepted. I went for the interview in Comcare. I remember one of the lecturers in ITE. We still keep in contact now lah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I remember going in, and then they were asking me like, one thing I appreciate about people is like when they see, they know that I've been through certain histories or certain mental health issues. They are very respectful, like in terms of like they don't like pride, like they don't go towards your like histories like, oh my, what people do, like very capable, very insensitive lah. Yeah. One thing about the Comcare lecturers, he just asked me whether if I am able to cope or I'm receiving the right help. So that's when I answered yes, because I was with HCSA Day Spring going through trauma treatment. Yeah. So that's when I told him, yes, I am receiving the help that I need. Yeah. So that's when I kind of went through Comcare lah. But I remember for that 2 years, I didn't have hope in anything in terms of like I didn't know what I want to be, because all the while it has always been nursing. Yeah. So it kind of like I lost interest in a way.
But you mentioned that, you got in Comcare and you were very excited. Is it something like there's a very big difference between like a Comcare and nurse, or is there a perception of nurse is, injecting, rather the word help is a physical help versus, I don't know, a medicine help? Is that something that you kind of have that ideal? Yeah.
So for that, for Comcare is more to it's a mix of caregiving, also social working, and also what else? Yeah, mental health advocating lah. So for Comcare is mostly these three, but for nursing is mainly focusing on medicine, like caregiving. Yes, we do have caregiving, but then we also have like the certain like prescribing medication, like in a hospital setting. Yeah.
So it's a setting, or is it the work?
It's more of
just trying to understand from that perspective.
It's more of actually it's both.
So the environment actually kind of like differentiate in your mind. In my mind, the difference
is more of the medical side.
Okay.
Because one is more medically, like you work with the doctors, you work with your patients also. But for Comcare, it's more caregiving. Like you kind of like, for example, you go to the patient's house, if it's a private lah, you go to a patient's house, then you will change, or you will do their activity of daily living. Yeah, so that's the difference, I would say. Like there's no much medical, but more of caring for Comcare. Yeah. So for nursing is more medical, but there is caring, of course. That is the main thing, right? Yeah. So I would say that's the big difference. It's only the medical side.
Okay.
Other than that, Comcare and nursing actually
It's the
quite
same, right?
similar, yes.
Okay.
Quite similar.
Okay. So I'm just going to pose you just an interesting question. If I'll just switch the word around, like a comcare work is just now known as nurse, and comcare. How do you call yourself in comcare?
You don't have a...
You have a word, right?
No, yeah.
So what if we switch the word around? Basically, it's just playing off the words. Like the nurse word is being used in comcare. Yeah. But it's still the same. To me, it's still kind of the same work. They are still like nurses. It's just nurse in a different way. Would that change your perspective?
Yeah, so, so actually, that's a very good question, because when my elderly see me as a PTA right now, they always tell me, hey, nurse.
Missy,
yeah,
right?
Missy,
They call you
Missy,
Missy,
yes,
Missy,
correct,
right?
correct.
It's still nurse.
Yeah. So actually, the big difference for comcare is more towards the therapy. I would say the therapy side.
So if I switch the words around, would that change your perspective of what you want to do? Yeah.
Actually, no. If you would ask me 3 years ago, no. I would still want to do medical side. So handle more medically of my patients. Yeah. Then more of the therapy of exercising or even rehabilitation. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can share why there in particular that even 3 years ago, if I rewind your whole story, you would still want to be in the nursing perspective. Like what makes you really be very grounded to say that I want that?
For 3 years ago is because being in the, I'll say, like I say, even when I was younger, I really wanted to become nurse, right? So even as I grew into who I am now, in terms of like the struggles that I faced, the 3 homes, MSF homes that I've been, it kind of changed my perspective in helping others in a way that I feel the need to help more, you see. Yeah, so when I was in a very bad place during COVID, so it was lockdown. We were all with our families, right? Always at home doing Zoom. First time doing Zoom. Yeah, so it was like a very scary, I would say, as a Sec 2. Yeah, as a Sec 2 student. But the one thing that helped, like so-called, got me through, it was the will to become smaller, in a way, like to lose weight. Because when I was younger, I would say I was a very big size. I was about 114 kg for a very, very young Sec 1 girl. So that's actually not normal. So actually, why I was thinking that way is why I became that way is I realized that I had a binge disorder when I was younger, but nobody knew until we went to the doctor, right? We thought, just eat, But when I reflect back as who I am now, I realized that I eat through my feelings. In a way, like when I was younger, like I didn't know how to express. So that's how I developed the eating, so-called the eating habit of just eating through my emotions.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yes, correct. So it's a coping mechanism of how I needed to express my emotions. Yeah, so that's when, I became so-called 140 kg and unhealthy. So why it is okay to be so-called, it is okay to be oversized or even big, what people say, right? But you have to be healthy in a way that you can't. For example, for me, when I was 114 kg, I was pre-diabetic. So doctors were warning me, saying that, okay, you're already pre-diabetic, so you need to start losing weight lah. In a way, watch what I eat, watch how I drink. So that's when, it kind of like got onto me. And at the moment, it was already, the doctor's appointment was before COVID. So when COVID hit, I was like, okay, why not, I want to lose weight. I want to become a so-called better person, right? So that's when I kind of developed the so-called diet. So I still have photos of like my so-called diet. In a way, it was like only potatoes, eggs, and probably, potatoes and eggs only. So after a while, it got lesser and lesser. And also, my weight, yes, it does go down, but the portion of me eating, it got lesser and lesser and more and less frequent. So I didn't realize that was an issue. So yes, I did lose weight. My lowest was 60 kg, I remember. But I was so sad with life to the point where like I didn't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, at that moment. So that's when like, I developed depression. So I also had insomnia, couldn't sleep, and then couldn't eat. Suddenly, from eating eggs and potato 3 times a day to eating nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how low I was at the age of 14 during COVID. Well, it was during the time where COVID restrictions was lifted a bit. So we were able to go to school. Yeah. So my friends, that's when my friends saw like how I changed. I mean, yes, you lose weight, but they saw how like from my smiley, becoming so smiley and outspoken, suddenly became so dark and gloomy. Like I won't talk to anyone. I would sleep in class. I would my grades were also not doing so good lah because of the sleeping, because of I couldn't sleep at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when my friends realized and kind of it got, how do you say it? The counselor also was warned like by my teachers about how I'm doing. So that's when like I got the help from counseling lah, basically. So when I went to counseling, they always have this stigma of like, oh, counselors always tell your parents like everything, right? Actually, it's true because you are underage. At that moment, at that moment, you always have that grudge. Like, why did you tell my parents that I'm suicidal? Why do you tell that I self-harm? But when I grew older and when I grew older, I actually found out that, they have to tell because you're underage.
Yeah.
And you are that's your guardian. Like, technically, that's your parents. Yeah. So in terms of safety, they have to do it out of, not because they don't like you, but because
they have to.
Right? Yeah. So, like, even not just for counselors, like coaches or even teachers, if there's something wrong, they have to tell your parents if you're underage. So that's something that maybe at that moment I didn't realize because I was young and I was like, I trusted you, like you should have not tell the teachers. Yeah. But so at that moment I felt really angry. I was like, why did you tell my parents? And then that's when she kind of explained to me, but I kind of like still in denial lah. Like, okay, still,
I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen.
Delusional,
right?
like, okay, no. Yeah, so at that age it was like that. And then that's when I was put into hospital for my own safety in a way. So I was in and out in KKH for quite some time. And I kind of develop relationships even at KKH. I mean, because that's me. Everywhere I go, I love to talk. Whenever I'm happy or whenever I'm being me, I will always like to, kind of talk to people. Yeah, share about my experience and everything else. So, but at that moment, what made me kind of just be in that moment is the nurses lah. I mean, they made me so grounded, but I also at that moment didn't have really good understanding about relationships or attachment. So as a kid, I was like, yeah lah, can lah. The nurses is very kind. Okay, why not just talk to them? Yeah. So that's when I got the help that I need. So called the psychiatrist, psychologists, all came down to talk to me. And, that's when people started to realize in a way that I was struggling a lot. Yeah. So that's when MSF also came in. So that's when all the 3 homes that I went also started from I stayed in the hospital for about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long stay.
Yeah. So I was like in there for like 3 months, like doing my usual routine, so-called. And usually because they, when you go to the toilet, they will always follow you. So I had this anxiety, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so they would not just follow me lah in anywhere, whoever, because they scared you self-harm or
okay.
or do whatever it is. But at that hospital stay, I would say that I was quite stable in a way because they were helping me also lah. Yeah. So that's when I went to two homes before HCSA Day Spring. Then that's where I landed in HCSA Day Spring. On 2021 December, I remember during Christmas. Yeah, that's where I went into Day Spring lah. Yeah, so Day Spring is like a whole another experience because like they really pull you out of that butterfly cocoon. Like, you know, from like feeling very like stuck. I feel for me in my journey, it was more of the I feel stuck at that moment, and then suddenly I just slowly bloom into a butterfly. Even till now, it's like a journey, I would say. Yeah. So HCSA Day Spring, they gave me trauma treatment, which is your therapy, physiotherapy, psychologist. Yeah, and also they kind of bring you to appointment. So it's around usually minimum around 18 months for girls lah, trauma girls who stays there. What do you think about my story so far?
I think first I would say congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, because I think you've gone a very long journey, and I think you have really made your mark, right? I think that's very important, and you should be very proud of yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I think one of the things that strikes me is, I think a lot of us, whether be it you are big or small, right? The binging, the expression of what do you call that? To express yourself through eating, right? I think a lot of us does that. Yeah, not just big. I think small ones as well, because they want to remain small, right? Or even smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do you actually cope with it? And what makes you say that really you want to come out from binging? Because I mean, I've known people who does that as well. Yeah, even when I'm depressed, right, I'll still eat like potato chips, right? I'll just like binge eating. Yeah, not like having proper food at times, right? Because like you say, it's a comfort food, right?
Yes.
It's something that, but what makes you say, today I want to stop that and I just want to get out of that?
I think when my health deteriorated, when I had gastric all the time, I was wondering also, because I was young, right? I didn't know what medical stuff is. I was thinking like, why am I having gastric? And I think again, maybe it's the not eating and the binging at the same time. So how I kind of get out of that, slowly get out of that hole was telling myself what do I really want and how can I express my emotions in a more healthier way. So these are the questions that I discussed with my psychologist at that moment. How can I express my emotions in a more so-called safer way? Like for example, journaling, taking a paper. I remember I tried everything. I write down my feelings, I tear the paper, then I tried to tear it somewhere, even though it's so small, because you feel that frustration. It didn't work for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing that works for me the most is talking to someone.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I feel upset or when I feel anger, that build up of anger, I will always talk to the youth mentors, Day Spring youth mentors that I have at that moment. So I realized that, okay, maybe talking is a way for me to express my emotions or share what I'm feeling. So I feel less alone. Yeah. So for me, that's how I cope. But some people, like I said, they can, write down, journal, or even like I said, tear paper, or you can actually burn paper in a safer way. That is actually an option between me and my psychologist. Yeah. So that's how like it really depends on your who you are, what's your personality, and how you express your emotions. Because different people have different ways of, venting out. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
How are ways that, currently, I mean, I heard you say you were also sometimes eat potato chips when you're, so what do you think are better ways, you feel like can express your emotions better?
I exercise.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'll do my runs and I'll just try different activities usually.
Nice.
I think that's one of the way that I will do it. Then I'll just say, okay, I can keep fit at the same time, right? So,
Yes.
the good thing is I don't binge on sweet stuff.
Oh.
I only take the savory. Yeah.
Are you more of a savory or sweet?
I'm a savory person. So so that's the only thing. But I do exercise more. Yeah, or COVID times, right, where we're all very frustrated. Yeah, that's where I'll like, okay, the street is mine. Right, I can run the whole street, right? It doesn't
Nobody's
matter.
there. Yeah.
There's no cars to block my way.
Yeah.
So that's how I mean, it's like Liberation Day, right?
Yeah.
When the whole
That's interesting. Really.
Yeah,
because when I was talking about running, actually, I actually went when I was younger. That's how I expressed also. I ran for, I think the longest was 10 kilometers. Yeah, so talking about activities, right? That's also when I developed the love for football. So currently I am I'm in the Women's National League.
Wow.
Yeah, but not for Singapore, but for the club. So we are
It's
in
still
the
good,
we are in the second division.
Okay.
So that's the time where I started my soccer was actually in HCSA Day Spring. So last time we had a backyard. So last time HCSA Day Spring was at 6th Avenue. So we had it looks like a condo, like two stories, right? And then there's a backyard for us to like play around sports. So that's where I developed the love for soccer. I train, whenever I feel sad, I just kick the ball into the goalpost.
Yeah, just imagine the person's face is the ball, right? And then you just kick it.
Kick it like many times. I remember that one time my very expensive ball went over the gates. And then it got lost lah. It was very sad. Yeah, that's how like angry. Yeah, ouch. Pocket also ouch at the point of time lah. So that's why I was like very so whenever I'm angry, I play outside in the soccer. So that's when I started to develop the love for football. So even after HCSA Day Spring, I graduated, right? I still continued that passion. It became a passion. So that's when I continued to like play and go for clubs. Yeah. And I realized that it actually builds something, a different part of you, a different part of resilience. Yeah, it's more cardio, it's more of a health resilience. So your body will start to kind of get used to the intensity, in a way, and it will, I don't know if you heard about VO2 max, so it will develop a good like health for yourself lah. So I feel like that is important in terms of like finding an outlet, even as activity, or it doesn't have to be like journaling or like sitting down. It can be running, it can be soccer, it can be anything you want it to be if you love what you're doing in terms of.
You're right. I think like through sports and things like that, it actually helps you to vent out all your frustration. Yes. You express it in a different manner. Yeah, in a healthy manner, I would say, right? Yeah, I think that speaks quite a lot, right? In terms of even how you cope with many things that is happening, right? That you have mentioned throughout your years, lah. Yeah. So I'm also curious to kind of understand with every journey that you go through, right? What are your biggest takeaway that you learned so far? But you feel like I need to, tell everyone about it. Like it's very important, like having your own voice, to say it. Right? It can be your eating, it can be anything, right?
I would say it all starts with the will. It all starts with a goal in mind. So if you really want it to happen, naturally everything will not say everything will be in place, but more of the you will naturally go for it. So for example, I want to go for the Women's National League, for example, before it. So what I did was I practiced almost every single day. And I practice and practice, even though I didn't see the results in my eyes, but in in terms of like skills wise, you're actually improving. So you might not see the improvements at that moment that might let you feel very down or you want to give up. But that's the moment when you have to continue that discipline, to continue that resilience in you, to be able to reach what you want to do lah. Yeah, so I would say that's the message I want to tell other people. Yeah, that you kind of have to learn how to continue become resilient, because results doesn't happen over that moment. It doesn't happen when you start. It actually happens when you want to give up. Yeah. So that is like something that is very important for me lah.
Yeah. Okay. I think resilience is something that maybe I would say it's not easy. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's never easy being in this position, right? Trying to overcome, because what we do is always we see very immediate, right?
Yes.
Same. Even if I were to do my sports, okay, maybe I will just use in forest school that we teach kids. So resilience is one thing that is very important. When we coach kids in school, in the forest, right? We do it every week.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then you will hear like, every week. What is there to see? Right? What do I learn? I just walk. I need to walk like from one place to another place. Sometimes they will have to think of activities. So when it comes to like resilience, like walking, there are a lot of people who always think that walking is very easy, right? Just walk only what, right? What's so difficult? But when you are in a journey, same as walking, sometimes we pause to see, to reflect. And by taking this journey of resilience like yourself, right? The training, the consistent, sometimes most of us want to see an immediate impact.
Yes.
Right? And then we miss out. Actually, we are learning every day.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're learning every day, even in, walking in a forest
as simple as walking.
Kids, right? As simple as walking. Yeah. And over time, actually, through small little walks like this, you actually realize that the kids can even walk further than you or faster than you, right? And they are like not panting leh.
Yeah, you're the one that.
Okay, yeah. So these are like simple things, like you said, right? From your football training. But another interesting question will be: football is usually not perceived as for ladies, lah, right? Like, I mean, that's how. Then how will people view you, and how do you like? No, it's just a sport, right?
Yeah.
How do you go with that, and kind of how do people see you playing football, and like, are you sure or not? Football? No lah, football is
too rough.
Yeah, too rough. It's no, Singapore can never make it.
Yeah. I get it a lot in terms of like, but I would say currently in this genre or this generation, it is better in terms of women's football, because I feel that there is more competition in the league currently. So every young lady, we will not I say every young, but most of the young ladies, their siblings are all in football, right? So they were all like, okay, why not join? So when that happens, or when you have someone that came from like for me, I didn't know what's football until I thought it was a coping mechanism, right? And it turned into a passion. So things happen like that, and I would say now the support for the women's team is getting a little bit better and more recognition. Probably not in Singapore.
But how has that support helped you?
I would say the feeling of joy. I don't know if I think when you play sports also, right, it releases a good dopamine or a good serotonin. Like it somehow gives out the good hormones to help you feel good. So that's how it has supported me in a way. Like, whenever you feel angry, like I said, you just kick the ball. And also, I would say the community, the team that you're in, if they make you feel like a family, you will naturally enjoy what you do. Yeah. So if they welcome you, or you feel like, okay, this is something that they care about me in terms of like family wise, not even family, that friends, you will naturally feel like, okay, I feel supported in a way that these are my friends that can support me even after work times, like after 6 o'clock. Because usually my soccer is around 6, 7 p.m. So even during the tired days, you will just feel like, okay, why not just go soccer and, have fun and talk to your teammates, like, and also kick a ball. So it's like a build up of a good thing, I would say, for me. Yeah. So that's how I see it as a support for my own journey.
Yeah, I think community building is something that is important, I would say. Even for myself, I think having that strong community network helps you to stay very grounded to what you really want to do, right? They serve as your reminder as well to stick with your passion maybe, or at least keep you going.
Yep.
Right, but having the right community for you is also important. Like for myself, right? I mean, there are different types of community that we all know. Yeah, I think it's how you feel, whether it sticks to where your vision really wants to, right? I think if there's one thing that you can share, like with the audience over here, what is it that you like them to take away? Yeah.
So I would say to be a bit more sensitive when you approach, I feel like anyone, you might not know where they have, what they have been through or who they have been with. So it will be very good to kind of be more curious instead of the word kaypoh in a way. Yeah. So be more soft with your approach, I would say. Yeah.
But back to this soft approach, I'm just a bit, how would one say to another person in the soft approach? I think coming from not being kaypoh, but I guess it's the lingo that we all use is like, you okay or not? Like, how come like that? That's how maybe a lot of us Singaporeans, not being kaypoh, but it's a
way.
Yeah, it's a way of expressing, but maybe unintentionally
understand.
Can be hurtful, I would say.
To the other party.
Yeah, to the other party. How would you envision?
To the, going back to the story of the nursing interview, right?
Yeah.
I think from what you say, maybe they had intention of saying like, okay, you cope better. I mean, maybe that's what they meant.
Yeah.
But instead it came out as so what your parents did. Yeah. That type of language, right? We developed here in Singapore. I think it's better to kind of give the other party a space to share if they are comfortable to share, if that certain thing were to come up.
How will you envision that conversation? And with that conversation, how would that make you feel? It's like, okay, I will ask you, I don't know if like now, given at the same situation, I may ask you, actually, what do your parents do to you? Like, of course, you don't feel great, right?
Yeah.
If I were to put it in another way, maybe to use it in the same manner, but to ask you a permission. Is it something that you can share with me?
Of course. I mean, that's one thing also. Is first is giving the other party to speak. And if you are really curious, maybe you can just ask in a way that whether if I'm comfortable to share. Because this type of thing, you need to give that person a little bit more space to kind of that safe space for you to share. So if you come up with I'm just curious, or are you comfortable if you share a little bit more? I feel like that's a good way to approach someone if you have a very so-called sensitive question.
So if I were to come across and ask you, Maya, is there something you're comfortable that you'd like to share more, that I am here with you to listen?
So
how would that make you feel?
Oh, it will make me feel, okay, I have a choice. Instead of, I feel like, oh, I think you're telling me to ask, But when you ask me in that manner, you give me a safe space to choose whether I want to share or whether I will say, oh, sorry, I'm not comfortable with sharing. So you give me the choice, that freedom to share or not share. I think that's a very important part.
Okay, so that will also change your perspective of the other person not coming across as kepo lah.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's very good. I think a lot of us, until now, I would say maybe it's how the system are, our education, us being Singaporeans.
Upbringing.
Us being Singaporeans lah, technically, right? It's how we ask such question.
So back then,
So thank you everyone for tuning in today in this episode of Clean Your Toilet podcast. And maybe a question to Maya before we wrap the whole thing up is, if there's a message, or a request that you want our listeners to hear, or from you, or to support in the community or anything, what would that be?
I think I brought this up just now. It's more of being more sensitive with what you are saying to others, in a way to think before you say, because words can make a very big impact. I mean, this is a lesson for me also, is to slow down and also think before you ask, in a way so that, because words can really hurt and make people happy. So it's a both way thing. So just think about it lah. Yeah.
I think that's very great, because I think a lot of us we just rattle it out, right?
Yes.
I just say whatever I want, right? Yeah, I think same in all conversation. It needs to take two ways rather than just one way. I say, you hear, you listen, and that's it, right? I am the mighty to say, and then you are there just to listen. Words can be very powerful.
Yes.
Words can hurt or make. It's a make or break.
Yes.
Right? I think that's what I also totally agree. And that's why a lot of us needs to have our own voice. And with that, because we all have to clean the toilet within ourselves.
Definitely.
Right? Through all our inner work. Right? And it starts from there. And thank you, for really sharing this story of yours today. I mean, it's a very untold stories. All we need is that little voice to be louder, to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.